Can we trust our government? Or are we consistently being lied to? Can we believe our own eyes? Is everything just a big conspiracy? Or are some things just what they are? Do underground tunnels really exist for the elites? Do you have somewhere to go if things go awry? Question everything. Prepare for the worst. Hope and believe for the best. Just don't get caught slipping.
All right, y'all, we are back at it. Welcome back to My Free Life. I'm Sax Williams. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and prematurely hit that like button, give it that thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already and become part of this Free Life Squad. All right, y'all, I got another good one for you. So let's get into this, because you can't believe everything you told, and you can't not believe the things that you believe. It's a real weird mix of believing these days. Let's get into it.
Has the U.S. government of actual evidence of extraterrestrial, otherwise unexplained forms of intelligence? And if so, when do you think this first occurred?
I like to use the term non-human. I don't like to denote origin. Keeps the aperture open, both scientifically. Right. Certainly,
so y'all remember, this is Congress. All right, this is at Congress. This isn't just some peons hanging out in the treehouse with the little homies from around the block coming up with some cool conspiracy theories. This is in our Congress. So take note of that. Now, does that make it real? No, but it's definitely substantial because it got that far. So let's pay attention.
Publicly, previously 1930s.
Late-breaking story coming out of Friendship, Indiana tonight. We have received eyewitness video from a source only identified as I'm the Cryptic. Several witnesses are reporting multiple unidentified flying objects flying above the Friendship Flea Market.
It's a trip, y'all. And this right here, woo, trying to get better at these transitions. But this right here is also a trip. So these are U.S. forces. But what we're looking at right here, these aren't UFOs, y'all. These are those, I don't remember what they called, 3B something, 3D something, 3B something, but human-made, American-made craft that defy gravity as well. See what I'm saying? Like reverse engineering or whatever you want to go with, what have you. But they got these out here. That's why the military dude don't look like he's in distress, walking on the ground like that ain't going on above him, because that's part of the military. Yo, they do some extensive testing and bombing with these things. It's a trip. It is a trip. All right, let's get it going. What are we looking at right here? So to me, this thing right here, it looked like it's supposed to be a craft that, or rather, it is a craft that is supposed to be cloaked. Like it thinks it's cloaked, but like maybe its cloaking mechanism isn't working all the way. I don't know. I don't know how to call it, but it's really, really, really suspicious and weird. Question everything. Let's keep it moving.
One species that's about 39 inches tall, but the skin color of
and this guy, y'all, please understand, this is not just some doofball talking. All right, this is Dr. Stephen Greer. All right, this man's entire life is involved around this and revolves around this, and he's got a lot of literal insight from those three-letter communities we don't like to talk about. So do not take this man's words lightly. What this dude is telling you, what this dude is talking about, is very, very real. So do not discount his testimony on stuff. Let's roll.
You know, sort of a brownish gray no hair, very fine lips, no external pinna, ear flaps, the chimpanzee ears we have. They don't have those. They just have an opening.
Hi, TikTok. This is Gary Hamilton, your conspiracy scientist. What you're looking at here are...
I like this little TikTok dude's intro. You're a conspiracy scientist here. But his conspiracies they should be felt worldwide because this is very strange. So basically what he's doing is he's going over all these photos of all the billionaires that have died since 2020. Now, I don't know. I'm not the smartest man on the block. But there ain't a lot of billionaires. Okay? So the odds of this many billionaires dying in the last couple years is probably astronomical. Therefore, it defies all sense and logic. So therefore, I think I kind of agree with this guy's conspiracy theory. So let me back this up and listen. Watch what he's talking about. It's creepy.
Hi, TikTok. This is Gary Hamilton, your conspiracy scientist. What you're looking at here are the 80 billionaires who have died since 2020. And that seems like an awful lot to me.
Me too, brother.
So, especially with this Titan sub disappearing, and then, of course, there's no bodies found. I'm thinking that those underground bunkers are probably starting to trickle in people. That is about to happen because they can't have a mass exodus a week before the event. It would just be too obvious. So it's just curious that this many billionaires have died since 2020. Anyway,
I agree.
What do you think? And have a great day.
This guy's crazy. What underground bunkers is he talking about? Well, I found some of those clips too. Let's take a look.
I mean, basically, you got an underground roadway system here that runs all the way to Maine, to Washington, D.C., to Colorado. It's fully stocked. It runs completely underground. And you can see they've been hauling tons of military equipment. They're stocking all these bases. Now, the other thing is the railroad system here is also very strategic. They're bringing in boxcar loads, and they're dump shipping here, and they can really deliver to all these locations, which these locations go all the way to Area 51. These locations go all the way to Washington, D.C. There's access underneath the White House to this location, okay? So this is a strategic location, which is really the new command center for the Illuminati and the United States government. Well, forget the United States government. This is a headquarters for the Illuminati. This is where those...
This man said, forget the American government. It's the Illuminati. I know y'all be missing my whistle, but I only whistle when it's whistling Dixies, because it's serious business out here, y'all. And the Illuminati's real. It's very real. So if you doubting that, well, you're just a fool. All right, so let's see what else this dude talking about. Pay attention, y'all. Question everything. Let's go.
United States government. This is a headquarters for the Illuminati. This is where they'll ship most of their supplies. When they go underground, they can stay underground for quite some time. And this is stocked with food, water, everything they need.
It's stocked with everything they need. Food, water, everything. Now, call me crazy, but we ain't got no access to nothing like that. You, me, common people of the world, we got nowhere to go. These tunnels run thousands of miles underground, y'all. Underground. All right? Like the man just said, even under the White House. So, Let's think for a second. All right. Why would they spend millions, billions, probably trillions of dollars creating this complete underground system if they didn't know something we don't know? If they're not prepared to be underground for a long time? Okay, like you see the size of these tunnels. Semis look small in here. All right, these are massive, massive, massive underground dwellings that span thousands of miles. All right, they're not doing all this for nothing, right? They're not spending all this for nothing. And I guarantee you're not going to find these expenditures on the books, by the way, that you and I, the taxpayers, are paying for. We're just not included in that. Make sure you pay attention to all this little stuff, this subtle stuff, because it's not so subtle. This stuff is it's huge. It's very, very, very important. And I know y'all remember it was just in the news like, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago, not very long ago, a couple months ago, maybe a little bit longer. I work 24/7, so sometimes my time perception falls off a little bit. But you remember when the people of some little town was complaining about all the stuff they were hearing coming from underground. They were like, it seems like explosions. It seems like this and that. What's going on underground? What's happening? We want answers. We want answers. My opinion, this is exactly what's happening. They're still building these tunnels and expanding and going further out, which is why they're able to catch this crazy stuff going on sound-wise and vibrations and feeling like little miniature earthquakes to these folks in these towns they live, because in my opinion what's happening is these tunnels are continually being dug out underneath them. You know, they use explosives, dynamite, things like that to blow out capsules so they can excavate that material out and then dig and then blow and dig. It's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, y'all. I have no idea. I'm just trying to use my brain. I suggest y'all do the same. That's what we do here at this channel. We use our brains. Let's go.
They go underground. They can stay underground for quite some time. And this is stocked with food, water, everything they need.
Whatever happened to the bad guys from World War II? Let's research. Oh, look, it's in Wikipedia. Operation
What do you
Paperclip
know?
was a secret United States intelligence program in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from the former Nazi Germany to the U.S. for government employment after the end of World War II. So yeah, some of them went here, here, and last, but certainly not least, here.
Not NASA.
NASA.
Not NASA.
But wait, why would scientists have anything to do with Hollywood? Okay, you crazy TikTok conspiracy theorists. That thing said German scientists. It never said Nazi. Oh, but have you heard of Werner von Braun? Founder of NASA.
NASA.
And
Also,
look at his political affiliation.
neo-Nazi.
Oh no.
Nazi
Where's my
party.
tinfoil hat? Huh? Shortly thereafter, NASA got involved in all kinds of tomfoolery, like
Fishbowl.
Operation Fishbowl, where they told you we were just testing nuclear warheads up there in space. But did they call it fishbowl because they were referencing the truth that we live underneath a firmament? Firmament? What's that? I'm gonna need you to read Genesis. Let's just start on page 1. Yeah, firmament. It's all in there. Just
It's
read it.
all in there.
They weren't testing warheads in space. They were bombing the firmament. King of dark to light duality, Elon Musk, SpaceX, has been showing you snippets of the truth, like this Falcon 9 video. I wish I had the video, but you can look it up. Falcon 9, scraping the firmament like a boat skips over water. He looks like a nice guy.
Ha!
Let's invite him over for supper. Remember when he said if he dies under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing ya? Or remember when he said, thank you for the blessing, but I'm okay with going to hell if that's indeed my destination, since the vast majority of all humans ever born will be there? Why would a heliocentric atheist outer space dude believe in hell? The world is flat, and I can't get past the firmament. Anyone want to buy SpaceX? Ha 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 ha. Truth in plain sight, guys.
Truth in plain sight, guys. My man said it well.
These organizations are foundational to your understanding of where you live and what you know. I have no idea how I got the video to do this. Clearly, they're watching me make this video right now. TV. Tell-a-vision. So yeah, they just didn't disappear. They were assimilated.
So to expand on what he just said, television, television. It's called TV programming, television programming, all right? That's very important for y'all to realize, to program your thoughts, to program you. It's not coincidental, it's real. Now, I know that a lot of people are like, oh, the government would never do that to us. That's not what's happening. Stop being so naive, because you're a fool, and you're going to be treated like a fool at the end. Let's go. It's real, y'all. Things is out there. What things, we just don't know. Look at that, y'all. That's a trip. Straight up. Not human.
Can you give me the names and titles of the people with direct first-hand knowledge and access to some of this crash retrieval, some of these crash retrieval programs, and maybe which facilities, military bases the recovered material would be in? And I know a lot of Congress talked about we're going to go to Area 51, and and there's nothing there anymore anyway. It's just and we move like a glacier. As soon as we announce it, I'm sure the moving vans would pull up. But please.
I can't discuss that publicly, but I did provide that information.
He said, as soon as we announced it, the moving vans would pull up. This man is woke. No, whoa. Ooh, I said woke. No, not woke. Not woke. X that, 86 that. Take that out of my vocabulary. He's awake. Big difference. Woo, I almost slipping on my pimping. All right, let's get back at it. Sorry about that, y'all. We don't do the woke stuff around here.
And there's nothing there anymore anyway. It's just, and we move like a glacier. As soon as we announce it, I'm sure the moving vans would pull up. But please.
I can't discuss that publicly, but I did provide that information both to the Intel committees and the Inspector General.
There are others that are much larger. Remember, there's at least 60 to 70 species that have been cataloged, the people I've worked with.
That's great.
And I think Sergeant Stone said there were, at that time, 68 or 69 species. And some they're various sizes and what have you. So a lot of that's sort of a caricature in pop culture. I'll also just say, be careful of what's out there in that kind of public domain. A lot of that is disinformation, false information. Because the ones that are the caricature you're talking about are actually man-made ones that are made to look alien and aren't. Those are the ones that are using all kinds of technologies to quote-unquote abduct people. Those aren't being done by extraterrestrials. Those are being done by the fake aliens. And we have a whole dossier on that, going back to the late 50s, early 60s.
The fake aliens, y'all. Other words, the American government and governments from around the world. Don't be fooled by everything, but don't forget, everything ain't fake. Everything ain't real. It's a real hard business out here trying to cipher through what's real and what's fake. Because there's so much fake. There's so much real. That's where you have to have intuition. All right? You have to have, well, I would just say as God put it, you got your morals in the soul. You just know what's right and what's wrong. And you got to bank on that. Always bank on that.
About to see is jaw-dropping, and it was passed over by the New York Times. The New York Times had an opportunity to run this story, and they didn't. And we are here now at Redacted going to run this story. We're going to show you this unbelievable film in just a moment. But But what's more astonishing, however, might be the cover-up and the secrecy of this top-secret film. My guest today is Jon Stewart, former candidate for Illinois governor in U.S. Congress. He spent more than 5 years investigating, proving the provenance of this alleged film, this top.
So y'all, you always know the truth when there's so much effort into covering something up. You don't put that much effort into covering up nothing that's not true. All right? The truth is the truth. The truth will prevail. So if they go through that much effort to cover something up, you can almost 99% of the time guarantee it's true. Just saying. My opinion. Let's go.
He spent more than 5 years investigating, proving the provenance of this alleged film, this top secret film, which we're about to show you. And it purportedly shows an alien, an extraterrestrial biological entity being interrogated at the S2 facility in 1997 by members of the U.S. military. Yes, an alien creature being interrogated by members of the U.S. military. Let's play the film. So here it is. This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, John?
This is a film shot April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other gray, designated an other gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words,
crazy.
I'm sorry.
Look at that.
But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 Alpha, the official designation of the underground facility that housed the Alien Interrogation and Retention Program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings and still do as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grush coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some of these beings are from other dimensions. And so this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard, I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung-1 sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across, to monitor this bizarre heart-lung-1 sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, and I don't doubt it, and because I've seen the outline of the figure, and I didn't catch this, and someone else did, so I'm crediting them. I don't ever want to not credit other people. That Colin Powell was in that interview room. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I can't verify it, but it certainly looks like the outline of us back in the 80s and 90s. But there was 2 men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whatever military person was in the room. As you can see on the tape, the being eventually starts to medically flag, if I can use the whistleblower Victor's terminology, and he is then attended to by the medical staff. And Victor tells us that the medical staff in S2 and S4, are more chosen for their ability to keep secrets than their medical knowledge. And again, I have been in contact. I have the names of the 2 doctors that are going to be on either side of this being. On the bottom, you're going to see DNI/27. That is the Department of Naval Intelligence. According to Richard Doty, there's like a conga line of different agencies waiting to insert their questions to this being. In the 2-hour-long interview, the interviews are conducted about once a month.
What did you start to piece together from people who were in the room? When we say hoaxed video, I think you're saying that was what the assumption you had going into this, that this was hoax. That was sort of the media speculation about this. Now you've proven and taken it to the United States Congress, which, by the way, they're about to hold a hearing on this next week.
Again, y'all, this is being held up in Congress. All right? So there has to be some sort of validity to these stories to even get into Congress. All right? There has to be something real about what they're talking about. So do not just be discounting everything like, oh, it's aliens. Oh, it's some, I don't understand that. Oh my goodness, it don't fit my breadbasket. I ain't shopping for it. Everything ain't gonna fit your little pea brain mind. All right? Some of this stuff is just there, and we need to deal with it and figure it out and think for ourselves. Trust nothing. Question everything. Let's go.
Week. And I think that this is, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a big piece of this. And other whistleblowers are now confirmed to be coming forward to Congress next week. Civilian whistleblowers who are going to be testifying of the things that they've been a part of and seen.
Marrakech, dans la nuit du vendredi 8 au samedi 9, Brocoli TV. Regardez. Expliquez-moi en commentaire, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Y'all, so this scene right here is what I was telling y'all about. These are those TRBs experimenting with weapons on those craft. All right, these are man-made craft with reverse engineering. Obviously, all right, they ain't got no propulsion. They ain't got no blades, no helicopter blades. They ain't got no thrust, but they just sitting idle like it ain't nothing, dropping bombs. Y'all, this stuff is really, really serious. Stop thinking things are so simple because they're not. Just always remember a good rule of thumb. However much we know, this is just my take on things, but however much we know that we're exposed to, go ahead and add 50% to that as far as advancement of where we really are, because they will never let us know everything that's going on. I'm going to run this back just a little bit so y'all can take this in.
What special access programs cover this information, and how is it possible that they have evaded oversight for so long?
Dalton.
Y'all hear that, right? Right? Let me pause that. Y'all hear that, right? Like, so there's the American jet right here. All right? Man-made jet following these things. All right? So the military is on point. They're there. Now, they don't seem like they chasing it. They seem more like they escorting, if you ask me. But you notice how strange and how ominous the sound was when the other craft was passing? Now, I know most UFOs are usually silent or whatever, but when you hear people talking about sounds that they heard, whether they just country folk out in a pasture and see this, see that, the other, it's always like this. They always describe some weird hum, right? Some weird hum. So I'm going to play this back again and just listen to that, right? It's like a weird, strange ominous humming going on in the background of this craft. It's really strange, really really strange. So just listen for that, because that's what I'm trying to point out right here. Now again, y'all, I might just be completely retarded. I have no idea. Do your own research. Don't trust me. Don't trust nobody else. Figure it out for yourself. But I'm saying this is weird. Listen. Now, I know y'all heard that, right? That, well, unexplainable hum, that like sound like nothing but power to me. Electricity, power. Very strange. And these dudes is obviously just out chilling, recording this. And I will tell you this. So I used to own some land. I was born in Colorado. I was raised in Kansas, but I used to own some land up close to Breckenridge, about 30 miles east of Breckenridge, out by 11 Mile State Park. I owned 5 acres out there, and I went out there and built this cabin. But there was times I'd wake up, and there would be some strange craft going over, over the mountains, and that was 11,700 foot elevation where I was at. So I wasn't no sea level. You know what I mean? It was a trip to see some of this stuff, but unfortunately I never caught it on camera, and it was kind of before I was really even into investigating stuff. But I have personally seen some pretty weird things myself. Anyway, ain't about me, it's about this video, so let's gizzo.
Dog, did you just see that? Dude, I got all of that on video.
How come radio wave technology is so closely related to government-announced outbreaks?
What we're watching right here, I had to put this in because I'm a firm believer of what they about to talk about right now. There's no way that all these radio waves are good for us as human beings. We are made of energy, right? So I like this little video because they break down how the correspondence between timing of all these new releases of different energy technologies correspond and correlate with numerous breakouts of disease and things of that nature. Again, this doesn't mean they're right. I don't know, but I have a lot of it makes sense to me. A lot of it makes sense to me. So I'm gonna run this back. Let me pull this back just a little bit and pay attention to what they're talking about right here, because what they're talking about is pretty darn significant, if you ask me.
How come radio wave technology is so closely related to government-announced outbreaks?
Good question. Good question.
The phone companies still to this day won't fund a single study showing the effects of a phone in contact with the skin, which it always is. The studies that have been done by private research companies showing cell phone exposure to the body show tumor growth and DNA damage that no corporation would ethically be able to push. Seems a bit convenient. Don't you think?
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
They don't know what they're shooting at, but they shooting.
Bucking.
I ain't no drone. Look at that. All you hear is Allah Akbar. Because they can't hit it. Look at that. Look at that. Bobbing and weaving on them. It's like hitting a double end bag, man. They can't even hit it. Look at that. Multiple shots. 20, 50, 100. Dancing on them. And you know what's funny? It makes a U-turn. It comes right back.
When do you think those programs began, and who authorized them?
I do know a lot of that information, but that's something I can't discuss publicly because of sensitive.
All right. If any of y'all want to jump in on any of this, you're more than welcome to. What level of security clearance is required to fully access these programs?
To the Congress and to the White House, and to the media, to the people. We know that's already happening. And so one of the big risks, and I wrote a paper in 1999, it's up on our website, this site, seriousdisclosure.com or drstephengreer.com. You will see that I wrote in 1999 that if this goes sideways, they're going to take the disclosure of this subject and flip it into a War of the Worlds, Independence Day, the movie thing, and create global chaos and create a situation to unite the world around some non-existing threat from outer space.
Certainly difference between member access and, say, somebody like me, but anybody who has a TSSCI clearance and meets the eligibility criteria, the access adjudicative authority should be able to grant you access.
Ms. Burchett, if you'll yield, so just to put a fine point on that, there's nothing that you're aware of that's above special access program classification.
It's a misnomer that there's anything actually above top secret. Executive Order 13526 delineates the classification levels.
Right, but I draw a point on that because we can have access to those programs, and so the notion that we're not being given that access sort of defies our typical muscle memory here in Congress. Thank you, Mr. Burchett. I'll go back to you.
All right. So what Representative Matt Gaetz just said is, if they have that high of clearance, which he does, and this representative does, but they're being denied access. So therefore, there's clearly a higher clearance that you have to have. Who gives that clearance? Who has the oversight? It's not us. It's not we the people. I assure you. So if you think things are as simple as, oh, our government just runs great, it's nice and oiled and machinery is working perfect, you're simple-minded and you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world. Question everything.
It's a group of career senior executive officials.
Okay, are they government officials?
Both in and out.
Do what?
Both in and out of government, and that's about as far as I go there. Yeah.
All right.
Because that was always the plan. You know, Carol Rosin, a member of my team who was the spokesperson for Werner von Braun, the guy who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, and who then became part of our aerospace industry back in the 45. He warned on his deathbed that they would hoax an alien threat, and it's all a lie. And that was the plan that they had come up with in the 50s.
This is what you get when someone besides NASA or FAKEX sends.
So this video that's coming up right now, this little clip that's coming up, I really, really like. So essentially what's going on here is just some civilians, some non-government officials that's launching a helium balloon with cameras and things of that nature to go up into the stratosphere and to record. And what you'll see on this video is pretty astonishing. Regardless of who you are, it's pretty astonishing, because this is obviously real footage of this helium balloon going up. And now again, y'all, I am not subscribing to the flat earth thing. I'm not saying I'm a flat earther. I am saying that I'm not discounting it, because the fact of the matter is I don't know. You don't know. Have you been up there? Have I been up there? No. We don't know. So we only go by the things that we're told. But when you start seeing things like this that are outside of government controlled policies and people, you have to, with a logical mind, question things. So what I'm saying is question everything. All right, let's launch this balloon. Let's go.
Something up in the sky. You don't live on a bowl in a vacuum. Wake up.
So this tripped me out at first. I was like, what am I looking at? But it's the balloon at the end of it facing up, and then the moon. It took me a minute to figure that out. Y'all, I don't know, but that is looking pretty flat to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's looking pretty flat to me. Just saying. This, along with all the Antarctica stuff and why these flight patterns are so weird, and you have to take certain flight patterns and not go over Antarctica. Now, of course, I don't know. I gained most of my knowledge from researching YouTube and BitChute and Odyssey. I don't know if any of them are right. They could all be liars. I don't know. But there's a lot of convincing stuff out there that makes me question things. And I'm always going to question everything, because that's just who I am, and that's how you should be too. But this stuff is trippy.
A guy named Auguste Piccard. Most of us have never heard of this person, because when he made it to the stratosphere, he said he saw what appeared to be a flat disk with an upturned edge. Now, after Auguste Piccard ventured to the stratosphere, we have the U.S. Air Force showing us the stars from space for the very first time. And when you look at what they showed us, what they actually saw, you begin to understand why the moon landing never had stars in the background. Why they're not showing us stars from space anymore, because it's very difficult to pull this off.
The sky is deep black.
As you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
The sky, of course, was black.
The heavens are 10 times as bright. Stars 10 times as numerous.
And we cannot see stars.
The thing about Carl Sagan, billions and billions of stars. There really are billions and billions of stars, and you can see them.
It's an unfathomable blackness, like with a texture you feel like you could stick your hand into.
And that's when things start to get weird, because people have gone back and looked at declassified documents that for some reason keep mentioning a flat, non-rotating Earth. Over and over again, it's in their flight plans, it's in all their working models. This flat, stationary Earth repetitively keeps showing up. If it doesn't exist, there'd be absolutely no reason to base all of your science on it. Something else shows up. In the 50s, In Russia, they had documents describing the firmament.
Okay, y'all. So those were all declassified documents that we were just looking at. And as you've seen, they all repetitively kept referring to a flat earth. Again, I don't know. I can't possibly know. But what I can do is research and try to think for myself, which is what I do. And I try to bring this stuff to y'all. Doesn't mean my stuff is factual because I don't know. I only know what I can find. But the things that I find that I present to you are things that seem to make sense to me, right? They seem to make sense to me. So if it makes sense to me with the way my wheels roll and the way things turn in my head, I feel like they should make sense to y'all too. So I present them to you. Doesn't make it factual, all right? I am not a scientist. I have no idea, but it makes sense to me. And I think that if you listen to the logic of things and pay attention to the evidence being presented, that they'll probably, most likely, make sense to you as well. Again, I do not let me change your mind on anything, because the whole point of who I am is for you to think for yourself. All I'm saying is do that. Think for yourself, use your brain, figure out things, and make things make sense to you. All right? All right. Let's go.
Follow along with me. Let's get to the bottom of this, all right? God created male and female. Satan creates artificial intelligence. God creates animals for us to eat, so Satan copies that, and Satan creates lab-created meats for us to eat instead. God says, be fruitful and multiply, so Satan wants to copy that by pushing the on our kids. God promises to never flood the earth again, and he uses a token of that covenant as a rainbow. So what does Satan do? Satan uses that same rainbow, and he puts it for pride, and he puts it for... God is called the bright and morning star. Satan infiltrates the entertainment industries, and he calls them stars. Jesus was crucified at 3 p.m. A lot of paranormal stuff happened at 3 a.m. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Antichrist, Beast, False Prophet. The Holy Spirit dwells inside of us. Demonic spirits dwell inside of Satanists. In the Old Testament, they use lambs and goats for burnt sacrifices to God, but Satan uses the Baphomet, which is 1, 2, maybe even 3, but is all of this really a coincidence?
It was not approved at the highest level.
Look right here, y'all.
Can we trust our...
Alright, so zoom. I want the very last of this. Alright. Gotta get back to that because that was just a very end of what was going on.
Can we trust our government?
Alright, so anyway, let me find that little spot because I think that's important. And we need to address this.
3, but is all of this really a
try
coincidence?
to pause it on time.
It was not approved at the highest level.
Alright, pause. Okay. So this is from the CIA. This is a Central Intelligence Agency. Alright? Central Intelligence. Whatever. You get it. Anyway, check this out, y'all. So, we'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Right here, Director of Central Intelligence. Alright, y'all see that? Director of Central Intelligence. Alright, just in case you didn't catch that, let me read it again. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Is false. Coming from the Director of Central Intelligence. Wake up, y'all. Don't be woke, but wake up. Anyway, if you haven't subscribe. Become part of this free life squad. We would love to have you here. You know what I mean? My name is Sax Williams. I'm a YouTuber second. I'm a chef first. So if you're ever in Austin, Texas, come and eat some of my good grub at 8101 Salt Springs Drive, Austin, Texas. Sax's Tacos, but I do way more than just tacos, and my food is amazing. You will meet me because I am there hand and foot myself cooking that food up for y'all. But anyway, like, subscribe, become part of this free life squad. Love y'all, and we will see you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.